Fat cells don't lie. Here's something no one told me in my 30s. I was doing everything right, counting calories, eating less, running on a treadmill like a hamster with ambition, and the scale didn't move an inch. Not 1 inch. Turns out, I wasn't losing the war because of my fork. I was losing it because of a hormone I never thought about. Researchers grew fat cells in a lab and surrounded them with more calories than they could ever need. The cells stayed tiny. Nothing happened. Until insulin was added. The moment insulin entered the culture, fat cells started expanding. 6 hours later, there's a visible fat droplet. 6 hours after that, it's even bigger. The calories were never the trigger. Insulin was. This flips the conventional model on its head. If a fat cell physically cannot grow without insulin present, then your weight problem isn't about how much you eat. It's about what your hormones are doing while you eat. And that one shift in thinking changes everything about how you approach losing weight. But if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear about the group of people who figured this out the hard way and the price they paid for it. The darkest proof. I used to think weight loss was a willpower problem. Just want it badly enough, right? Eat less, try harder, suffer more. Simple. Except there's a group of people who cracked the fat loss code, not through discipline, but through something doctors classify as a medical emergency. When you hear this, you won't forget it. A condition called diabulimia exists among young people with type 1 diabetes. These individuals discovered that by deliberately underdosing their insulin injections, they could eat whatever they wanted and stay extremely thin. Their bodies had plenty of calories, but without enough insulin, fat cells couldn't store any of it. The weight stayed off. The consequences, however, were devastating. Dangerous blood sugar crashes, ketoacidosis, and life-threatening metabolic damage. This isn't a theory. It's a documented medical reality that proves one thing beyond any argument. You cannot gain body fat without elevated insulin. Calories alone don't make you fat. The hormone controlling the door does. So if insulin is the real driver, what's secretly spiking it every single morning before you even take a bite? Your body betrays you at 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. You're asleep. You haven't eaten in 8 hours. You're basically a metabolic saint right now. No chips, no soda, no regrets. Just peaceful, innocent sleep. And somehow, your body is still working against you. Like a roommate who messes up the kitchen at 3 a.m. and blames the dog. This is called the dawn effect. Around 4 to 6 a.m., cortisol starts rising to prepare your body for waking. That surge signals the liver to dump stored glucose into the bloodstream, raising blood sugar before you've touched a single piece of food. Insulin climbs right behind it. By the time your alarm goes off, your insulin is already elevated, meaning your body is primed for fat storage, not fat burn. For people practicing intermittent fasting by skipping dinner, this is often why results stall. The post-wake window is your metabolically riskiest time of day. Food eaten in the first hour after waking, especially carbs, gets processed under elevated insulin conditions. That's not fat burning, that's fat locking. And it's not just what you eat in the morning that causes the spike, it's something almost everyone does first thing without thinking. What you're about to hear is the reason most people never actually keep the weight off, even when they do everything right. Coffee is not innocent. I used to wake up and grab coffee before I did anything else, before I looked at my phone, before I acknowledged other humans existed. Coffee first, civilization second. Turns out that sacred morning ritual might be quietly torching my metabolism before the day even starts. A study documented how caffeine significantly amplifies the insulin response when combined with carbohydrates. When you eat carbs, blood glucose rises and insulin rises to clear it. Add caffeine to that equation, and insulin has to work considerably harder to manage the same glucose load, driving the hormonal spike even higher. In the morning, when cortisol is already elevated and the body is naturally more insulin resistant, layering coffee on top accelerates that disruption fast. The fix isn't eliminating coffee, it's about timing. Waiting 60 to 90 minutes after waking allows cortisol to peak and naturally decline before your first cup. Your hormones do the heavy lifting. You just get out of the way. Small shift, real difference. But coffee isn't the only morning landmine. The food most people consider healthy for breakfast is doing serious hormonal damage and has been for decades. Breakfast is basically dessert. Nobody warned me that cereal was a trap. It has a cartoon on the box, says heart healthy, and comes in a family size. It feels responsible. Turns out, I was just eating cake with a better marketing team. And it's not just the sugary stuff. Most healthy breakfast foods are quietly staging a hormonal disaster every single morning. Modern breakfast has essentially become dessert. Oats, orange juice, toast, granola, fruit smoothies, yogurt with honey. All of it spikes blood glucose and drives insulin up fast. This is the absolute worst time of day for that to happen. You've just spent 7 to 8 hours fasting. Insulin has finally come down overnight. The moment you eat a starchy, sugary breakfast, you slam the brakes on fat burning and restart the fat storage cycle from scratch. The smarter move is leading with protein and fat. Eggs, meat, or cheese trigger a minimal insulin response while keeping you full longer. Your body stays in the metabolic state it spent all night building. That's not a diet. That's just not undoing your own progress. Here's what most people never connect. Cortisol doesn't just respond to what you eat in the morning. It responds to how you slept the night before. Bad sleep, bigger belly. I thought the worst thing about a bad night's sleep was being useless by 9 a.m. and accidentally putting the cereal in the fridge. Turns out, poor sleep is also quietly stacking fat on your midsection while you stumble around looking for your keys. Sleep isn't just rest, it's metabolic maintenance, and skipping it breaks the whole system. When sleep is cut short, the body interprets it as a stress signal. Morning cortisol can spike 2 to 3 times higher than normal. That surge drives blood glucose up and insulin right along with it. On top of that, cortisol crosses into the brain and directly stimulates appetite-triggering proteins in the hypothalamus, the region that controls hunger, creating intense cravings specifically for carbohydrates. At the same time, cortisol reduces leptin sensitivity, which is your body's fullness signal. So you wake up tired, insulin is elevated, hunger is amplified, and your cravings are steering you straight toward the exact foods that make everything worse. Poor sleep doesn't just drain your energy, it hijacks your metabolism before breakfast. Now that you know what's working against you, here's the exact morning strategy to flip your insulin in your favor starting tomorrow. The insulin trick. I kept waiting for the complicated version of this. The 47-step protocol with 12 supplements and a 5 a.m. cold plunge. But the actual fix is almost offensively simple. Like, I accidentally skipped breakfast in college sometimes and didn't realize I was doing metabolic science. The core strategy is straightforward. Don't spike insulin first thing in the morning. Your body just completed an overnight fast. Insulin is finally low. Use that window. Push your first meal back at least 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Use the natural cortisol-driven energy your body is already producing. Go for a walk, get sunlight, plan your day. Your brain is sharp. Your body has fuel from stored fat. You genuinely don't need food to function right away. When you do eat, lead with protein and fat. Skip the starchy, sweet options. This keeps insulin stable, sustains energy longer, and signals your body to keep burning instead of storing. It's not a diet. It's not fasting. It's just working with your hormones instead of fighting them every single morning. The best part? This doesn't require a gym membership, a meal plan, or any willpower whatsoever. It just requires doing less in the morning, which honestly sounds like something everyone in their 30s can get behind. Give it 3 days. Most people notice their energy stabilizes, cravings drop, and the afternoon crash starts to disappear. Your hormones were never the enemy. You just needed to stop poking them before 9 a.m. You've nailed the morning, but one bad afternoon can undo all of it. Here's how to keep insulin working for you the rest of the day. The rest of the day. Most people fix breakfast and think they solved it, like patching one hole in a boat and wondering why it's still sinking. Insulin doesn't clock out at noon. It's active, responsive, and waiting for you to make a bad decision at 2 p.m. The morning sets the tone, but the rest of the day determines the outcome. The principles stay the same after breakfast. Prioritize protein and fat at every meal. Limit refined carbs and sugar, especially in the evening when your metabolic rate naturally slows down. Avoid snacking between meals. Every time you eat, insulin rises. The longer insulin stays low between meals, the more time your body has to burn stored fat for fuel. That's the metabolic window most people never open. Sleep is the final lever. Getting 7 to 9 hours consistently lowers baseline cortisol, improves insulin sensitivity, and resets your appetite hormones by morning. This isn't about perfection. It's about stacking small daily habits that keep insulin working for you, not against you. Do that consistently, and your body stops holding on to weight for no reason. Think of it like compound interest. One good day doesn't move the needle much, but 5 good days in a row, Your body starts to shift, cravings become manageable, energy becomes predictable, the weight starts responding. Insulin was never the enemy, it was just a system running without the right instructions. Now you know what those instructions are. The only thing left is to use them. If this changed how you think about weight loss, hit subscribe. We break down science like this every week so you don't have to dig through research papers yourself. Drop a comment below. What did you eat for breakfast this morning? And are you going to change it tomorrow?